Oh, good afternoon. Skip Jeffries coming from the kitchen on a Friday night. Did a little bit of garden harvesting this morning, so we got some peppers and we got a little bit of cucumbers here. So thought about doing some, we got jalapenos. These are some kind of shiitake type pepper, and then the cucumbers, first of the season or first harvest of the year. So we're gonna try to do a small batch of pickles, and then I want to pickle up some jalapenos and peppers. Just do like a pickled pepper jar. So we'll get started here. We'll start first with I guess it'd be a pepper brine that I got off of All Recipes. It has 1 cup of vinegar, 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 garlic cloves, and then you add your jalapenos to a jar and mix it all in. We'll probably shake it up a little bit. What we've got going on here, I've got actually, I'll call this an Oklahoma garlic that we pulled from the garden today. I'm gonna clean it up and mandolin dice it, and we'll dice that and put that into both of our pickles and our pepper recipes here. And then I'm gonna be adding, I've got a red onion, and these are all from the garden too. Just wanted to see how our onions are doing. So we got a little bit more time for the onions. I think maybe another month or so, and we might have something more writing home to mom about. But let's go ahead and start with this first brine here. Grab some water. So about a cup. Pretty close. And normally most of the brines I've used have always been about 50-50 with vinegar and water. So we'll go ahead and add our cup vinegar. Like I said, I don't use the fancy stuff. This is just a regular Walmart brand. I try to keep it real. Pretty small saucepan. And then we've got 2 tablespoons of sugar, and this is just regular, I call it tabletop sugar, out of her cooking jar. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure we get her nice and even. Her little designer containers for her cooking stuff. She does a lot of cooking, baking goods, so a lot of cookies. Then we got a tablespoon of salt. And this is just regular Morton's kosher salt, I believe, yeah. A lot of people use canning salt. I haven't seen it in the stores by me, but we'll see. This one here doesn't call out for any type of peppercorns, but I think I'm going to add some to it. Give it a little bit of extra spice. And then we're also going to add some mustard seed, because I think that adds. And this is organic one. I think it's a Walmart brand. Great value. Pop that top off. But yeah. And then we'll get this bad boy a mix and put it on the stove. And we'll probably continue mixing both of these brines while they're heating up. I normally bring them to a boil, then I let them cool. And while it's cooling, I'll dice up the veggies or whatever I'm pickling. We'll put that there. Set the heat on. Kind of let that go. On to the Copycat Grillos pickle. Thought about switching it up and actually looking at, I bought a jar to see what the spices are on it. But for this one here, I want to keep it consistent because I got some store-bought cucumbers that I want to compare to the garden one. So that's why we're keeping this recipe the same. And I know I've gotten some comments in, I guess, my first Grillos pickle copycat recipe that I did, that they said there was no mustard seed or peppercorns in the recipe. But this one here is, I think, a little bit from a different source, and they actually say to strain them out of your brine before you put it in a jar. So I normally add it back in because I like that added flavor. So hopefully that answers that question. I will continue. Like I said, I picked up a jar from Costco this I think it was last Friday, but I'll take a look at the ingredients on there. They normally don't give you everything because there's always one hidden ingredient, so you can't really copycat that thing, but we'll take a good decent look at it. For that one, I believe I use filtered water, so we'll do the same for that. Try to keep the variables to a minimum. And yes, I know I gotta change the filter out on that thing. And this one calls out for a cup of vinegar. They call it for Heinz, but GEV brand works in our house, so that's what we're using. They also call it for a tablespoon of sea salt, but I'm going to use the kosher salt. I used that in the last store-bought cucumber recipe. I'd say a tablespoon, right? Yeah. And then a half teaspoon of the black peppercorns, a half teaspoon of sugar. It's a little bit different than that last brine we did. Half the sugar, Well, actually, a quarter of the sugar that we used on it. So maybe that's why you get that crisper taste. Add that to the mix. Then they're saying a whole teaspoon of the mustard seed. So this one's a half, so we'll do 2 of these. And that should do it for the brine itself. We'll give it a quick mix and we'll put it on the stove and we'll begin cutting veggies here. That brine's almost to a boil. We'll have to keep an eye on it while we're cutting veggies. Yeah, the main reason they want you to let the brine cool down is so you don't crack your jars. Alright, while we've got the brine boiling, warming up here, put on some gloves. And we'll see if we can clean up this garlic. Like I said, I wanted to mandolin it and see how that goes. Alright, let's go ahead and take care of this garlic here. Guess we'll give her the old mandolin action. Well, we might be able to get a couple more goes through it. And that's why you use the safety thing. First year we did pickles, I cut my finger, almost had to go get stitches, so pretty safe about not messing around with that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a... We'll take out the center pit out of here. So in fashion, since this is garden grown garlic, it'll go more with the taste test difference. I think we may dice these bad boys up a little bit. We'll see. Just give them a quick rundown. Like I said, I think this is garlic we transplanted from our house in Midwest City when we moved. Interesting, that's the first time I've actually used the oaky garlic here. Yeah, we'll just set it in with our dill. And the dill too is from the garden, so good comparison testing here. I think we'll start with our peppers and get those things diced up. So I think that pepper brine will be done first. It's boiling. Give her a quick stir and we'll kind of set her off to the cool side of the oven. Probably, let's start with the jalapenos. I'm going to leave the seeds in, because typically in the store when you get it, the seeds are in. We'll just cut off the top, and we'll just lightly dice these, probably right around 1/4 inch. Woo. Just kind of rinse and repeat on all these peppers here. I think we need to check on our brine real quick after this pepper. I think that one's boiling, and then we can take it off boil and let it... Let's check on that brine real quick. Yeah, it's boiling. Go ahead, take it off boil, give it a quick stir, and then we'll kind of let that simmer. And letting it simmer, what I noticed when I did the last pickles, it kind of yellowed the water or the brine a little bit and kind of soaked in all the mustard flavors and everything else. That one seems a little spicy. I'm catching it in the eyeballs and in the throat a little bit. So normally when I pickle stuff, especially like cucumbers, asparagus, and everything else, you tightly pack, and I have a feeling you gotta try to do the same with these here. Go ahead and dice these bad boys up. We'll do the same thing, just destem them and kind of do 1/4 inch. And these are the shiitake, I believe, and we'll probably add them in, mix them in with the jalapenos, because I needed to get these things harvested anyways. Got these all destemmed. And like always, if you've got a pickle recipe that you think is dynamite, I would love to try it. I'm always looking for different recipes online. I mainly do a lot of the Grillo's Copycat because that's what friends and family like. I think I tried 3 different recipes last year, and the first 2 just, they were all right. We'll give that a good toss, and we'll mix up these peppers here. Set those off to the side. We'll get to our cucumbers. So with these things here, you've got your, I guess they call it like the bloom end. that you want to cut off, and then I always cut off the stem end, and that's just to prevent your pickles from getting soft. And these things here, I think we'll do the spears, because the last set I did were spears. Just simply halve and quarter. Alrighty, I'm going to try to locate some jars. I'm trying to guess. I think I'm going to try to do a quart jar, and we'll see about this. And I think I might have a pint jar out there. We'll go see. Go ahead and see if we can seal the deal with the peppers here. I'm going to add some of our garlic that we cut up. Probably quite a few sprigs of it. And I may add a little bit of sprigs of dill to it. We're calculating right. We'll try to smush these down and compact them. Top it off with some of that garlic. Ran out of jars. Not a good thing. Add our dill. I think I cut up way too much garlic here. We'll add a little bit of garlic in there. And we'll get some of those shiitake peppers added in there. We'll go ahead and pack our jar here. Well, that pickle's just a tad bit too long. Hopefully we can fit all these bad boys in there. I think we will. Looking pretty promising. Packed as tightly as we can here. Calculated right on that also. We'll finish off with some garlic on the top, a little bit of dill. There we go. I think we're ready to... Oh, I got one more cucumber I put off to the side. We'll use that for something else. Kind of glad I missed that one. We wouldn't have had room for everything. We'll get our brine here. Let's start off with the pepper one. We'll give her a quick mix before we... I usually strain out the bits, and then I'll add them back in. That gives you the option. If you like the brine the way it is and don't like all the chunkies in there, you don't have to have them in there. And I normally try to fill them up so you got about a 1/4 inch at the top. Usually a spoon works a lot better for the mustard seeds. And it's always good to calculate more brine than what you really need. I normally give them a quick shake. Just kind of see if you can distribute those seasonings in there. And I normally seal my stuff. Alright, let's move on to the Grillos. Should have tasted that brine to see how that tasted. But I guess we'll find out with those peppers when we unpack the jar here. Give this thing a quick stir. And we'll do the same thing. We'll sift out the bits. And as you can see, the mustard seed kind of gives it that yellow color. We'll add this to our jar and we'll be done pickling for the night. And I like to make sure everything that's in there is submerged. And we are going to add the bits in this one. I just think that sits in there because of the added flavor. So if you want to be a true Grillos fanatic, leave the bits out. Like I said, I'll probably come out with the next batch. I will see if I can create maybe my own copycat recipe. See if we can improve on what we got here. But anyways, folks, I'm going to go ahead and seal those probably off camera. But that's my pickling process to kind of extend the shelf life on some of the goods that we get out of the garden here. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching.